leaderboard showing that Mark Martin has a 0.17-second lead over Dale Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon is 6.76 seconds behind. Jeff Bodine is 8 seconds to the rears, and Kyle Petty is 15.8 seconds behind the leader, Mark Martin.
Did you just do that?
Yeah, how about that?
How come it's almost the same as last time?
No, I can't explain that. Yeah. It's not my fault.
And then you think maybe the race cars running the same speed they were running before, huh?
That could explain it. Mark Martin has finished out of the top 10 only once in 1993. At Atlanta, he finished 32nd. But he had a great race before he popped out. He has a 6th at Daytona, 5th at Rockingham, and a 7th at Richmond.
Bill Elliott's going into the pits on the backstretch, and Dale Earnhardt apparently is about ready to come in here on the front stretch.
The GM Goodwrench crew is positioned right across from us here in the booth, and we notice that they are gathering up the tools and ready to come on to the pit road as Dale Earnhardt comes down. Jerry Punch is also standing right there. Jerry?
Well, Rusty Wallace will also come down pit road momentarily, but Earnhardt's crew, remember, they just pitted on lap 50 at 48 laps to go, so they're not getting a lot of laps here. The tires are going away as far as lap times are concerned. Right side tires are already going on the Goodrich Chevrolet. Andy Petrie and the crew. One can of fuel in. Now here's David Smith to the left side. Once again, the left rear window to take a roundup wedge out, trying to loosen the car up a little bit. Left front, now left rear, tires are on. The Goodrich car off the jack, 22.9. Rusty Wallace now in his Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac crew, already having put right side tires on that car, putting left side tires on. Ted Musgrave's car comes down. Rusty pulls out. Musgrave comes in, and Musgrave hits the brakes.
And Jerry, Jeff Gordon has crashed. Jeff Gordon has crashed, and the yellow flag is coming out.
And that's a disadvantage for Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace, who had just made pit stops. I expect we're going to see them a lap down. Everybody else will get to come in and make their pit stops under caution.
Well, I don't know what happened to Jeff going in turn one. I have no idea. We can see we can make some heavy contact, and I'm telling you, this place is unbelievable.
He shortened up that car considerably, didn't he?
Sure did. Man, he's hit the wall hard. We can see that Jeff is okay. He's driving the car back, and he's about as hot as you can get. Because he had a great run going. Was running third, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Pretty far ahead of Jeff Bodine, who was running in the 4th position at that time. Matter of fact, he moved up to 2nd after Earnhardt had made his pit stop.
And there we see him slowly going down pits. And the official said, go take it to the garage area.
Yeah.
Don't bring it on pit road. So he makes it hard left. And they're going to have to work on the car either behind their pit or by their truck.
Meanwhile, the pace car has pulled out onto the racetrack and picked up the field. And now those on the lead lap are able to come in for a stop. And here comes Mark Martin and Jeff Bodine. Others pitting will include Kyle Petty and Dale Jarrett. John Kernan is in Mark Martin's pit, ready for the stop.
Mark Martin pulls in. The team will go to work. Jeff Bodine pulls in about 3 pits just down pit road from him. You see him cleaning off the rubber off the front grille. Mark had complained of the car being just a little bit too tight, but we just talked with Steve Hill. He doesn't anticipate making any type of chassis adjustment. They say they're going to leave it just like it is. Mark pretty happy with the race car. Right side's already on. Left side's going on a pretty good pit stop for Mark Martin in progress. Mark will leave pit road 18.9 seconds. Jeff Bodine leaves pit road shortly behind him.
And Kyle Petty's coming down pit road. Looks like he's going to come out of the mix in 3rd spot. Ricky Rudd 4th. Bud Strickland is going to be 6th, I guess, right behind Dale Jarrett. I think Jarrett beat him better than
I think so too. Jarrett is pitted down toward the exit of the pits, and I think got out ahead of Hutt. We will check in on Jeff Gordon and talk with him and see what happened and see if he might be able to make repairs and get back out there when we return to Darlington, South Carolina. Darlington under caution, the NASCAR Winston Cup Transouth Financial 500. Under caution for the first time due to a crash involving Jeff Gordon. Here's Jerry.
Well, the 21-year-old rookie sitting in the car, and Jeff, you had a great run running third. What happened out there?
You know, I'm just so frustrated right now. I cannot believe Michael Waltrip. I mean, I got new tires. I'm getting ready to make a pit stop. Running third. He's however many laps down. I mean, he knows better. He's been running too long in Winston Cup to know that the difference between the speed of new tires and old tires is great here at Darlington. There's a big difference. And, I mean, I was giving him the inside, and what'd he do? He just drove right in.
How bad is the car hurt, Jeffrey?
Oh, I mean, you know, I had I hit pretty hard. I hit a lot harder than I thought I was going to. All I could do is just lock it down. I'm just devastated. I cannot believe he ran into me. I mean, there was just no questions about it. He just drove in there. I'm sure he just drove in too hard and just drove into me.
A very frustrated and devastated young man, and his DuPont Chevrolet heavily damaged. The entire rear of the car has been pushed in, shortened by about 4.5 feet. Ray Abraham and the rest of the DuPont crew trying to get the car pushed out, and a young man sitting in the seat. You could hear how upset this 21-year-old rookie actually was, Bob.
Yeah, you can hear the hammers and the other tools that are already in motion trying to repair this car to the point of getting it back onto the racetrack. Well, this brings up an interesting subject. How do you build a Winston Cup car? Here's Benny.
We call them stock cars, but they aren't really stock cars. They're race cars. And this year, each week, we're going to take you through the step-by-step process of building a race car.
We went to Hendrick Motorsports to the race car buildup. This is the parts we're going to start with. We're going to build a chassis. It goes on a surface plate, a plate that's exactly level. First, the side rails will go on. This is square tubing attached together, placed at the height that NASCAR requires the race cars to be. Next, we'll add the front clip. You hear drivers talking about they knocked off a front clip. All they got to do is put the race cars back on, cut this off, and put a new one on. They're placed at the height that each team prefers. Next, the rear clip. And you hear guys, when they back in the wall, all I did was damage a rear clip. They can simply cut this off, weld on a new one. All that does is hold a gas tank and a place to attach the sheet metal. Now we're putting the floor pan on the car. This is basically to keep the heat and the debris out of the race car, to keep the driver clean. Next, a roll cage is prefabricated away from the surface plate. It's now brought over, placed on the frame, and welded on at the position it goes. Now we'll add the firewalls, front and rear, to keep the heat, debris, and fire out of the driver's compartment. Next week, we'll add the sheet metal on this car so it'll start looking more like a race car.
And we'll look forward to that at Bristol next week. Meanwhile, the field has just received the green flag. They've raced under green for less than a half a lap. Now, there are the 13th and 14th place cars, Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace. They are 13th and 14th. They're on the lead lap, but the length of the racetrack behind the leader of this event, and that is the number 6 car of Mark Martin.
Yeah, he's had several cars in front of him, and two of them, Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt, are only one lap down. Well, they're not really a lap down. They're in the tail end of the lead lap. Let's also mention that Alan Kowicki stayed out and did not pit on the first lap of the caution. He could have, but he stayed out and led the race, got himself 5 bonus points. He really didn't lose that much because he was back there about 12th to 13th anyway, so he's still there about the 15th now.
That's how you win Winston Cup championships, by getting as many bonus points as possible, and Alan has received his for this race.
In fact, he's 11th right now.
We're looking at a race leader, Mark Martin, from the back of Brett Bodine's Quaker State Ford. There's some Ford telemetry in these cars as they're accelerating down the back straightaway. RPM 8,300, about 175 miles per hour. 158 miles an hour in the corner. Tapping the brake as he comes off turn 4 to head down the front straightaway. Once again, you'll watch the tack. It should be a little more down the front. We saw 8,400 briefly.
Rick Mass got sideways, saved it. Almost a crash. Close moment for Rick Mass down in turn number 4. Here is what happened.
That's Rick up on the outside. Oh, he gets in the debris, hits the wall. Gets in the wall, gets the car out of shape, almost crashes.
Right in front of Alan Kowicki. Alan was watching what was going on, moved around him down the front straightaway.
There we see Davey Allison going by Rick.
Looks like it may have affected that car a little bit because he's losing positions.
I think he hit the wall up in 3 and 4 is what started all this.
Yep.
He's probably bent something.
Yep.
Let's take a look at Kyle Petty is on the move. He's in 3rd place right now, trying to move around Jeff Bodine. He had a fender up alongside him there just a moment ago, but couldn't make the pass. Let's see as he comes through turns 3 and 4. He puts the Pontiac down low. Bodine goes high.
Oh,
Bodine
and
went too high. Well, Bodine went way too high.
He hit the wall up there, just almost exactly like Rick Mass did.
You wonder if there's a little oil or something up there. Of course, if you get too high, just like you said, Ben, you get those right side tires up in that loose stuff. Now Jeff